Hello and welcome back to Meadow Afternoon. Each week I share short stories, writing behind the scenes and other creative projects. Today I have written an Easter-inspired story to read, and to accompany the story I will be baking some hot cross buns and creating a journal page. I brought out my 1913 copy of Mrs. Beeton's Household Management and worked from her recipe. I used a little bit more spice than she originally indicated, but other than that, the 100-year-plus recipe came out perfectly. They were soft and fluffy buns, and they also freezed well. This book is not only really useful for historical research, especially for my late Victorian and Edwardian era stories, but it also has lots of recipes that I would like to try out in my own kitchen. Let's now join Tom and begin today's story. Hot Cross Buns, a short story by Ida Williams. Tom felt cross, irritated and annoyed, itchy and hungry, especially hungry. He swung his legs back and forth under the chair, adamantly sulking. He hated the stiff clothes they'd made him wear. The jumper felt rough against his neck, and the tie was just plain stupid. Mother said it was adorable, but he just felt stupid. Tugging at it, he considered trying to take it off, in an act of rebellion. A course of action that instantly came to nothing, as he was not entirely sure how it had been wrapped around him in the first place. He stopped fiddling with the fabric and let it be. It was like a magical contraption. He wondered if Father liked wearing one every day to the office, or whether he was frustrated as well. Maybe everyone was frustrated. Those ties had been put on them, and no one knew how to take them off. That made sense. Tom let out a deep and dramatic sigh. Why couldn't he go and play? It was a warm and sunny day outside. Looking longingly towards the window, he could see the sunlight dancing on the grass and the birds flying around. No one made the birds go to church. No one said the cats should sit in a pew, or dogs, or grasshoppers, or even cows. No one made the cows come. Then why should little boys, who had far better and more important things to do? Mother had said he would enjoy the vicar's stories. Tom wrinkled his nose at the memories of the long sermons. He was never sure if the vicar knew any good ones. If he told stories like they did on the radio, of cowboys or lion tamers or polar explorers, then maybe it would be interesting. Every time the vicar talked, he felt tired. He felt sleepy just thinking of what was to come that Easter morning. Outside, a dog ran across the lawn, chasing a brown and orange butterfly. He came to a stop at the window, panting and wagging his tail at the sullen little boy. Tom folded his arms. Adults never understood. He really had important things to do. There were frogs to watch in the pond, and a fort to finish in the garden, not to mention the war against the gang of pirates that lived 3 houses down. They had planned a spectacular battle by the pond for the afternoon. The only consolation was that the pirates would all be in church as well, eyeing each other over their hymn books. Of course, if he didn't go, then he could go ahead to the pond and lay an ambush. That would be glorious. Despite such wonderful dreams, Tom sat still on his chair. "Be a good boy," Mother had said. "Wait here for a bit." So Tom waited and watched the dog making a show, prancing around in his freedom, and listened to the uncaring birds as they gleefully flew around. Then, to add to his woes, he heard the sound of voices coming down the street. "Hot cross buns, hot cross buns," they sang in unison. "1 a penny, 2 a penny, hot cross buns." Leaning over in his chair, he craned his neck to see 2 of the dreaded pirate crew walking past, dressed in their Sunday best and clasping a hot cross bun apiece. They continued to chant the chorus in between taking bites. Seeing Tom, they gave him a wave, and the older one called over, "Ahoy, matey! We will win yet. Blackbeard's treasure will be ours. You're no match for us." Tom ducked down, fuming. To be taunted was one thing, to be mocked was another, and to be expected. But to be mockingly taunted while eating hot cross buns was too much for him to bear. Hunger grumbled in his tummy. Those delicious, hot and slightly sweet rolls. They must have gone to the bakery. Wistfully thinking, Tom half-heartedly felt the penny in his pocket. Slipping down in his chair, shoulders slumped, he didn't feel cross anymore, just defeated. Swift footsteps came up the gravel path, and Father opened the door, overcoat flapping at his heels. "I'm back. Are you all ready to go?" His deep voice boomed through the house. "Yes, sweetheart, I'm coming." Purse in hand, Mother hurried into the room. She had her blue hat on and was buttoning up matching gloves. "Come on, Tom, let's go." Wearily, Tom got up and let Mother straighten up his tie. Catching her eye, he asked softly, "Do we have to?" "Of course, dear." "Why?" She looked down at her 8-year-old son and smiled. "You'd rather go and play?" He nodded. "Well," she paused, wondering which words to use. "This is a day when we need to take a little time to think about someone else. Someone that lived a long time ago and wanted to make the world a better place. Today we remember the sacrifice he made and the lessons he left for us. You can give up a bit of your playtime to hear his story, can't you?" Tom looked down at the carpet and swung back and forth as he pondered a new thought, one he had not considered before. Lessons for adults, too. For everyone, dear. We can always understand more. Tom supposed that, after all, it would be all right to go. Dropping his voice down to a whisper, he said, "The vicar makes me sleepy." "Me too," Mother whispered back. "But try to hear what he says. There are important things to learn in there." Tom gave his mother a smile and got up, joining his father by the door. "I'm ready." They all stepped out onto the porch. "Oh, Tom, this is for you." Father reached into the pocket of his overcoat and pulled out a small package wrapped in paper. It felt warm as Tom took it into his hands. "I thought you might be hungry. Make sure you eat it before we go into the church." Inside the wrapper sat a fresh and fluffy hot cross bun. Walking down the street, the broad shoulders of his father on one side and the gentle hand of his mother on the other, he tore into the roll. It was full of moist currants and the tastes of nutmeg, cinnamon and cloves. Tom grinned, now content. Maybe the day would be better after all. The end. I hope you enjoyed the story today. Feel free to leave a comment down below and say hello. Would you have sat for as long as Tom did, even with all the temptations that he faced? Until next time.